looking at traditional approaches to crisis management, they almost always begin and end with helping companies get as ready as possible for whatever they may face in the future. That's through things such as governance structures, plans, training, crisis exercising, which are all incredibly valuable and must be in any organization's crisis readiness toolkit. But what we often find is that they're missing a big piece of what we consider kind of top-notch crisis readiness, which is taking steps to minimize the chances of that crisis occurring in the first place. And the beautiful part of scenario analysis is the vehicle which will help them do that.
So what makes Control Risk's approach to scenario analysis in the crisis management context very unique is that we combine two perspectives, an internal and an external perspective. So on the external side, we have a global team of risk analysts, people that are based in the countries and regions that they cover. They speak the local languages, they speak the local dialect, and they have a very in-depth understanding of cultural nuance and the way that it impacts on power dynamics, political developments, and others. So when we combine that external perspective with the internal perspective, and by that I mean the experience that our crisis management consultants have helping clients through crises for more than 40 years, it really does make for a very powerful combination.
So scenario analysis is not just an effective tool when it comes to crisis readiness, but is also an incredibly effective tool when it comes to crisis response. Very often when we walk into an organization in crisis, we find ourselves in a boardroom surrounded by executives who are incredibly smart, incredibly talented, incredibly accomplished, but are focused on the now. Right? Not being people who deal with crises each and every day. They're focused on what's right in front of them and trying to manage it. And the perspective they're using to try and manage that is generally historic in nature. Right? What they've experienced in the past, what they've seen work well, and what have you. But the companies that do this really well, they actually look forward as well. Right? And they do scenario analysis. And in doing so, you can anticipate what's coming next. And by anticipating what comes next, you're able to attack it at the source and hopefully prevent it from happening in the first place.
The way this works in practice, in actual crisis response, is, for example, we recently had a case with a client in the infrastructure project management space. They, after decades in country, uncovered entrenched corruption in the subsidiary of one of their key emerging market locations. So Control Risks came in and we brought scenario analysis to the table to help them respond to the crisis. In a number of ways, it helps you create and assess alternate versions of the future and understand how key stakeholders are going to act or react in those alternate scenarios. And by doing that and by assessing both the likelihood and impact of their actions and reactions, what you can do is really focus your efforts and the crisis management efforts on the things that really matter.
So in addition to providing a tremendous amount of value in readiness and response, scenario analysis also provides a tremendous amount of value in recovery. So when we talk about recovery, what we're really talking about is helping an organization return to business as usual. All the key decisions and activities that come with it. They're looking ahead. They're trying to figure out how are we going to get back to business as usual when the dust settles. And scenario analysis is a great tool to help do that because it is able to look at the worst case scenarios, the most likely scenarios based on the decisions being made for the future.
So the way that we work with clients on recovery, helping them emerge from a crisis, is that we try to complement the backward-looking element of recovery, trying to understand what it is that happened and how to prevent it from happening again with a forward-looking perspective.